Hey guys, today I'm doing a bit of electrical work on the 1190. I'm changing my cigarette lighter plug into a Merit plug. If you don't know what a Merit plug is, it's this. So this is the Australian. I don't know what other countries use it. 12 volt cigarette lighter type adapter, and it relies on some springs and to hold all the connections in place. Whilst a Merit plug, which is used throughout Europe, has this notched and, well, I guess it's sort of still spring loaded. I mean, it still needs to make contact, but it's a much more positive connection. That this thing doesn't wiggle around. Much more reliable, and I believe they can handle quite a bit more current than a standard, than a cigarette lighter attachment. So I'm changing my bike to this, and I thought I'm going to be drawing more than an amp probably through this plug, because I've got half a dozen devices attached to it in the tank bag. So this is actually, I'm going to power my tank bag, and yeah, this will be mounted in here. Yeah, so I did have this connected up, the 1190, and I'm sure a lot of other bikes are very similar. They have their accessory plugs. One is through the electronics in the dash, and it's accessory one, and it comes on when you turn the ignition on, and it's only rated, oops, this one, at 1 amp. And then the other one is connected more directly to the battery, and it's rated at 10 amps, but it's always has power. The positive and the negative, and you can see there we've got 12 volt, 12.5 volts. So that's always live, whether the ignition's on or not. And then the 1 amp circuit, so you'll see this is 0 volts, and then when I turn the ignition on, it gets power, 12 volts. But I wanted my 10 amps available only when I turn the ignition on. I don't want to leave devices on in my bag and flatten the battery. So I just thought I'd show something that can be easily done, which is basically just get a relay. This is just a cheap one from JCar. It's, they're all the same, a horn relay or whatever they're called. And so when power comes through these two are typically disconnected, and when power comes through these two connect. So maybe straight away you know what we can do. Yeah, so we get our 1 amp leads, and we put that on the relay side, or the side that needs to be powered. So now when we turn the ignition on, you can hear this click. You may not have, well, I can feel it click. You may or may not hear it click. So then we can get our 10 amp, and hang on, where's all my wires? So this is a little this is the little part that connects onto the bottom of the Merit plug, and as standard on this bike, it comes with a cigarette lighter attachment, which that is plugged into, and it by default is plugged into the 1 amp circuit. So it's plugged into the 1 amp circuit with the 2 spades, and they give you a spare, or you've got the extra to continue on if you need to connect something else. But we want this to work off the 10 amp circuit. So we get our negative, can be hooked up, no problem. But the positive, we need to go through the relay. So quite simply, it doesn't matter which way you connect these, there's no positive or negative, it's just power flows through it and turns it on. So onto one of the switches we've got our 10 amp positive, so that's always live but can't go anywhere. And then this one we've got a spade and a spade. Well, that's a sort of a problem, but we can do a dodgy because it's just a straight pass through. So I know that if I connect the female, what's the opposite of a spade? I don't know, the fork part. If I put this on there, then when I turn my power on, yeah, so as you can see, 0 volts, and then when I turn my ignition on, Hey, I've got 12 volts coming through, and this is through the 10 amp circuit, so the ignition is controlling my 10 amp circuit quite simply. So that's like a $6 piece I got from JK. You can get them from just about anywhere. The only problem is I do have a live spade bit floating around in here, so I just made up a little blank end, so a bit of shrink wrap and plastic, and I'll just heat that and it'll shrink on, and that'll be protected from shorting out anywhere. And there you go. Simple. So this is on the 1190 Adventure R, but a lot of bikes are going to be very similar. Certainly I think all modern KTMs are exactly the same. They have this little accessory 1, accessory 2. They have written on there 1 amp, 10 amps. So yeah, but you can do that, and then this will just tuck away in here neatly, and I'll have my switch circuit. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it helps. Catch you later.
Don't talk to talk to.
Oh, and one more quick little tip. Ever tried to get your zip tie to go around things and get your finger in there and trying to pull it around? That's a pain in the bum. Well, you can just pull it through your fingers like this a couple of times, and it gives it a beautiful little curl. That'll go around easy. You may or may not have known that. Cheers.